Hey, what's up guys? This is Chatura from VFX, and in this video we are going to take a look at what is the difference between waveform editor and multitrack editor inside Adobe Audition. You can see there are two types of editing works that we can do inside Audition, inside the waveform editor or inside the multitrack editor. So what is the difference? The main difference is the editing you are doing inside waveform editor is permanent. It is destructive. It adds changes to the original file. For example, if you open the original voiceover recorded file and if you applied a compression effect, and once you save that, when you apply that effect, it is changed the original file. That's the difference. That is, be careful when adding effects inside the waveform editor because it is a destructive method of editing. So when you go to effect rack, you can see there are some effects like process, fade envelope, gain envelope, like normalize process. So these process effects must be added inside the waveform editor. That means it needs to change the original file. You cannot add these process effects inside the multitrack editor, right? So that's the one thing you need to keep in mind. So what is the difference in multitrack? So when you go to the multitrack editor, you can see the effect rack, right? So you can apply any kind of effect, but when you add any kind of effects or editing, like when you trim a clip, like you can trim and you can make it back again. But if you do that kind of stuff inside waveform editor, when you delete this part, and it is destructive, it is completely change the original file. You might say that you can go to the Control Z or you can use the history panel to go back, but that is possible until you close the audition. Once you close the audition, you cannot use that undo option, or you cannot go for the history option. It is the changes you made inside the waveform editor will be saved to the original file, and you cannot go back to the original state. But the inside multitrack editor, you can trim the clip, or you can reduce the wave, you can reduce the volume, or you can cut pieces, and you can delete even parts, and you can get back these things again when you do changes inside multitrack editor. You can add any kind of effects here in the effect track, and you can turn on and turn off effects as necessary. This can be done even after you save and close the audition.sex file, that is the audition session file. When you close this audition and when you reopen this session file, you can still change these settings, right? So that's the difference between waveform editor and the multitrack editor. So when you do changes inside the waveform editor, be careful and understand the risk. It changed the original file. If you want to do major changes, it is highly recommend to do a backup of your original files. Otherwise, you will lose the original recording if you mess with the original audio file. For example, if you add any kind of distortion effect, increase the volume, and when you save this file and you cannot go back to the original state, you might say that Audition contains some effects like declipper effect. You can use declipper effect to restore this kind of distorted audio, but the thing is, you need to really understand that things you make inside the waveform editor is destructive. It changed the original file, but the things you do inside multitrack editor is reversible. You can change any changes you done inside multitrack editor. You can go back, you can reverse it. So that's the point you need to understand.